What's happening, people? Welcome back to Out of the Loop. Thank you for joining me once again. And my name is Matt, aka La. This video is a little special video I've put together. I asked some A&R owners and label owners what they look for in demo submissions and some red flags that they receive from demos. I thought this would help out quite a lot of you guys if you're struggling to know why you're being rejected from sending your demos, why they don't even answer you, and things like that. So this is actually from their mouth, their answers and why this happens. So I'm going to jump into the emails. And so the labels that I asked were Songspire, really great label, releasing progressive house, organic house, deep house, all this kind of stuff that I make. Monstercat Silk, another label, releasing similar types of music, a little bit more, I guess, kind of commercial stuff that they release, and more ambient stuff, and also some more deep house and progressive house stuff as well. Really broad label, really great. And then Enhanced, big label, and they have the other label Colorize, but this is actually from Ollie, who works for Enhanced, so it's not from Colorize. And there's two guys that run that. And then I've got one more from Gemstone, which is more of a commercial type of label, or commercial house, progressive house label, but they're really great. It's a sub label from Reveal, which is a huge label from Hardwell, and the A&R is someone that I work with closely, and he actually helps me out with my career quite a lot, and he's given me some great answers as well. So I'm going to go over them all and go into a little bit of detail after each one of how you can improve in these areas. So let's start with Songspire. I'm just going to check something actually. Yeah, all good. Okay, so a short intro is appreciated of some previous career highlights. Doesn't have to be long at all. All A&Rs don't have all day they don't have time to read a life story. Just a nice to the point intro. Cool, so yeah, just keeping it short and snappy. Tell them a little bit about yourself and tell them what you've achieved so far. Address the email with the A&R's name. I get many demos stating hi there or just hi. Do some groundwork on the labels, A&R, etc. So yeah, don't like mass email or just copy and paste a text. Try to address the A&R and the person that you're speaking to, because you eventually start building a relationship with these people. All these people here that I've requested this information from, I've been speaking to over time, and I chat to them quite regularly sometimes, especially with like Monstercat, because I have a few releases with them, and they're just like, now they're like, we are on a good basis, crack jokes every now and again and whatnot, and so that's what you want really. You don't want just some person that you send your music to, because you want them to work with you and build together, to build an image or a brand together. Cool, so check the sound of the label, check the sound that the label is releasing. We receive many demos with the music that we don't release. This gets brought up a lot. It's kind of an obvious one. Well, it's not that obvious actually. It's probably a little bit confusing sometimes. For me, I've definitely had this problem, not to an extreme. I'm not sending them like heavy metal to like a progressive house label, but for me in particular, when I make music, I don't always use a reference track or try to sound like another artist. I just kind of have fun and create something and see what happens, and then at the end of it I've got like a finished product and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with this now. What is this? Is it like emotional progressive house? Is it this? Is it that? And so it can be a little bit blurry under where you fall, but what I've been trying to do lately is just listen to the label and listen to some of the stuff that they've released lately, and then if it sounds anything like that, then I'll go for it. If not, then maybe not. But some of these labels do have sub labels and things like that the music might fall under. So yeah, as long as it's within progressive house, deep house with these labels in particular, then you should be good to go. The sound quality needs to be, so I think I missed one. Check the release. No, the sound quality needs to be very strong. We received beautiful demos with great melodies, but the sound quality just doesn't sound good enough. It's important to get that right before approaching labels. Also a demo which is unmastered isn't that nice to listen to. good to send off a self-master, which after approved by the label can be professionally mixed and mastered. I need a breath. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to talk a bit here so you can see my face. Hello. So yeah, this is very, very important. So it gets brought up in every single email. The mixing side of things it's hugely important, and the way that you get this right is you need to use a reference for your mixing. I do it all the time, and I'm just making sure that my high end or low end balances out right, or if I don't do it as much now because I kind of know where they should sit for them to be competing with these other records. And so yeah, you need to just know where those levels are. Use things like spectral analyzers just to get the balance right, making sure your kick's like the loudest because it's dance music, you know, and things like that. But this isn't a mixing tutorial. But yeah, and so the mastering, right? This is where you can kind of mess up and waste money. So if you send your music off to get mastered, which can be great, but then what might happen is you send that master to then the label, and then the label really like it, and then they'll ask you to get it mastered. I've had this happen to me before, and I was like, oh, well, I have got it mastered, and they were like, oh, well, maybe we should get it mastered then by our professional engineer. So then I would have just paid for a mastering that, you know, they didn't want anyway. So instead I started just self-mastering and getting the volume levels right, getting it up to par with the rest of the other records out there. I got a bit better at mastering then after a while, and now like my self-masterings are actually pretty good, and I've actually been able to release them as they are with a self-master. But if you don't know how to do that stuff, just put a limiter on your master and get the ceiling to -1, put the threshold down so the volume level's right, and then maybe do a little bit of EQ beforehand to make sure there's nothing nasty coming through. Obviously you should do that in the mix, but yeah, you can just do a little bit of tweaking just to make it sound nice, loud, and crisp, and not painful to the ears, and then you should be good to go. Okay, so let's continue on. Am I on the right screen? No, I'm not. Okay, cool. Original sound quality very strong. Yeah, this is what he just said. Yeah, unmastered. Originality, really difficult nowadays to invent your own sound, but definitely doable. Listen to other producers for inspiration, but most of all, create what you love personally, and don't copy others. This gets brought up a lot as well. So this is pretty difficult, but one thing that you can do is just try not to copy a reference completely and then call that your own. Like for me, I just sit down and will just mess around with things and try and make some sounds, and that's for me is how I kind of make a more original sound. But I definitely have some songs that they could be more original, and I guess you just get that from making your own unique sounds. Don't use so many just sampled sounds or sample packs. Try and do your own sampling and building your own melodies and things like that. Obviously there's things that you need to learn over time, but you'll definitely benefit from just doing your own unique touch and whatnot. Okay, cool. Not all labels look at this, but stats do count. The more monthly listeners, etc., the easier it is to get signed by bigger labels. This is pretty painful, but it's annoying, but it's true. So yeah, a lot of big labels will look at your stats, look at what you've done in the past, and your monthly listeners, and then they might decide on whether to sign you from there. And that will be the bigger labels. If you've not released anything yet, then I just recommend that you go for labels that are a little bit smaller, and they don't mind things like that. They more just want some great artists onto their name, and people that are good at making music, rather than just bigger names. Okay, present a nice social media lifestyle which suits you. The more you think about this, the better. The look of your pages across all socials is very important. So yeah, have a cohesive image across all your socials. So using the same imagery, like the picture that you use, presenting like just some kind of sellable image is kind of what they want. Something that they'll be proud to associate their name with, which is really important. Okay, cool. Let's move on to Monstercat Silk. Just 3 little pointers here, which is really good. This is very in detail, which is really good. Yeah, this short one here. So the production quality is most essential thing. So I kind of have gone over this with mixing and stuff like that. But he says, sadly, a lot of up and coming artists can't evaluate their own music, their own sound objectively, and don't realise they have critical weaknesses in their production, from poor choices of samples to disharmonic lead melodies. It's important for your demos to be heard and evaluated by more experienced musicians and sending your music to big labels. Yeah, so we've kind of gone over that already. So let's move on. Another crucial issue is when an artist, I don't know what's going on here, completely ignores the genre that the label is working in. Yeah, so kind of gone over this. But I get really frustrated when I receive techno, dubstep, or even rap demos. I can't believe if someone's sending rap demos to Monstercat Silk. I don't know what's going in your head. While we never released anything like that in history, it only means the artist does not care and is mass mailing. Yeah, so it's kind of a given, but like I said before, it can be a bit blurry within the progressive house, deep house realm of where you fit exactly, because certain labels definitely have like a more emotional type of sound that they're going for. I would say like This Never Happened have a certain sound that is very chilled, kind of emotional, it's still danceable and whatnot, but it's not like heavy, deep, dark type of music. And then other labels would have that, but it's still classed as progressive house. So it can be quite confusing and blurry, but you need to just listen to the label and see what they're releasing, and then try and align with that. Okay, the previous point brings us to the next topic. Never, and I really mean it, never do mass mailing to labels to try and show your demos to all of them at once. It will always be considered irritating and ignorant behavior. Wow, yeah, so he really doesn't like this. My response to this kind of thing is always to move that to the spam folder. Yeah, so never ever mass mail. You can tell that someone's done that. Just personalize the email, basically. That's the main thing to take from that. As I am not a native speaker yet, so I don't need to read that out. But yeah, thank you very much, Max, for giving me this information. Very helpful. Okay, so last one on here is from Enhanced, which is from Ollie. The first thing he just says is, I just want to say my thoughts are solely my own. Feel free to use my name and the fact that I'm the A&R manager for Enhanced, but this isn't the Enhanced stance, it's my own. Yeah, cool. Know the label you're sending your music to. Of course, we've already said that. Tailor your emails to individual labels. Don't ever CC or multiple emails. So yeah, it's the same kind of stuff. The music is important, but still think about your content, the content of your email. I open all demos first in multiple tabs. I don't read the content, then listen through to each demo. Closing tabs with the ones that don't fit, and if I like one, I'll find the email, check a little bit more about the artist, and if it looks clean and professional, etc., I'll be interested. Just needs a little introduction. Say hi, who you are, where you're from, any current releases, successes, sell yourself in a sentence or two, modest selling yourself, send demo links, nice message or thank you, signature plus socials, streaming links. Think about your artist image and social, etc. Goes with the above. Have a nice press shot, and also think about the image of the label, their current artist, and if you match with this. Same goes for the artist name. We have passed suitable demos before due to an artist image not aligning or it being controversial. Okay, yeah, so this is interesting here, the way that he opens his his demos. So he receives these demos, and then he just listens to all the music, and then he'll close, and then he'll look through if it fits with the label. So he doesn't actually look for you to present yourself first. It's just all about the music, which is great, which is more important. But then it's important to then follow that up with a good, introduction, selling yourself a little bit, good imagery, a link to your socials and things like that. So make sure you have those things lined up first, like your social links, your image across all your socials and things like that, maybe some Spotify links or whatever you've got, and then maybe just something about yourself that you think might stand out, and you'll be on your way. Cool. I'll just read the last one off my phone, which is just through WhatsApp. That's why I couldn't get the email. Cool. So yeah, this is from Joel, who works for Revealed or Gemstone. Really, really great guy who's been helping me out a lot. And he's just given me, I think, just 2 or 3. And he said, sending working links. You can't imagine how many people don't send working links. So I'm just going to show you something real quick, because I've done this many times. Let's make sure I'm on the right screen. So yeah, this is a remake that I did. And I actually did this quite recently with this link, because I'm stupid. But yeah, it's quite easy to do with SoundCloud. So the proper way that you're supposed to do things is you share here, right? And then you get this private link, and then you share this link, and that makes it so people that aren't a part of this account can use that link. This link will work for you, but it won't work for anyone else, because obviously you own this account. I've sometimes been a bit sloppy or whatever and just gone, oh yeah, here's the link for this song, copied that, sent it to someone, and then they said it's not worked. I think I've done it many times, which is, yeah, it's annoying, but it's quite easy to do. But just try and remember to always share from here. So yeah, just thought I'd point that out. Okay, cool. Let's go back. So the other thing that he said, being original, kind of gone over this, but using original sounds, try to be that new sounding artist instead of copying. And then the other point was being consistent and respecting feedback. Our feedback is given to make you better, not ruin your day. We don't want to ruin anyone's day. If you send over music to get a professional opinion, respect that opinion in whatever form it comes. Obviously, the feedback should be respectful as well. Feedback can come in many sizes. It can be very detailed, or sometimes it might just be that the A&R is not feeling the record. Okay, yeah, cool. So thank you, Joel, as well for giving me these answers. So yeah, I hope that helped you guys. And yeah, the last point that he was saying there, it's just quite important to not take things so personally. If you get rejected from a label, or if someone just says they don't like your music or whatever, try not to take it personal, because music is very subjective, and that A&R, whoever it is, they might just not be into the type of music that you make. It doesn't mean that it's not well produced. It doesn't mean that it's not a banger, and that if it's not and if your song is put in front of the right people, it could actually go really far. You just need to find a home for it, do a bit of research, rather than just being lazy and just sending to a label that has good following or something like that. Another thing to bear in mind is that you can always self-release if you don't find a label for your music, because with a label you kind of need to fit into their box. You can still be yourself a little bit, but you do need to align with their sound, and by doing that you can kind of lose your originality, because you're having to kind of confine into some kind of formality that they have in their label. So if you don't want to do that, just self-release. There's a lot of great artists that do this, like Cassie is a great example of this, someone who just self-released on his own label, which has nobody else released on it, and now he's got 15 million streams and whatever, and he's chilling, I don't know. But yeah, so you don't always need a label, but they can do a lot for your career, they can help you out a lot, and I really enjoy working with them, and it's a good way to to kind of jump onto their fans. So if they already have fans, then they see your music and they become your fans if they love your music. So yeah, I hope this helps you out, guys. I'm kind of losing my voice now. Yeah, if you have any questions, then just leave in the comments down below. I'll probably answer them very, very shortly. And if you have any more questions and you want to chat to me, then just head over to the Discord, which is in the link down below. I'm usually pretty vocal on there as well, and there's a lot of guys in there that are quite that are very educated and been making music for a long time, so they can give you feedback on your music and help you out in any way that they can, and I will also do the same. If you want to support the channel further or in any way, just give a like and give a comment, give a subscription, and then you can head over to the Patreon and support me there. That would probably be the best way that you can support the channel. I'm also doing one-on-one teaching and classes with people, which is in the link down below on the website. I actually did a lesson last week on the Moog, I taught someone how to use the Moog, and then we jumped over to Diva, and I went into detail on Diva, and he now is pretty comfortable with simps, which is really great. It was really rewarding, so I want to do that a bit more. So yeah, hit me up if you want some one-on-one time with me. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.